Many experienced tabletop players and beginners are now learning to play Pathfinder. Paizo Publishing published the first version of Pathfinder in 2009, followed by the second and current version in 2019. This fantasy role-playing game is an offshoot of Dungeons & Dragons, providing a role-playing rules system in a fantasy setting. Pathfinder 2e has its own unique fantasy setting and a variety of predefined campaigns and expansions, but players and GMs also have the option to create their own campaigns and homebrews. Pathfinder has always offered an alternative for longtime D&D players who want to try something new. However, publisher Wizards of the Coast made controversial changes to the D&D OGL that left many people disgusted with the game and its publisher, leaving more players than ever wanting to learn how to play Pathfinder 2e. Any newbie to Pathfinder 2e would do well to keep a few tips and tricks in mind. Pathfinder rules and how they differ from D&D. Pathfinder is based on D&D version 3.5, so there are some similarities between the two. Both are based on a D20 system where skill checks and saving throws are rolled with 20 dice and are considered successful if they exceed a threshold known only to the GM. Combat in Pathfinder is similar to D&D, starting with initiative, moving to attack rolls, and allowing for free actions and reactions. Most of the main playable races in D&D are available in Pathfinder, although Pathfinder calls them ancestors. However, there are several gameplay differences between D&D and Pathfinder. Character classes are mostly the same, but their abilities and mechanics are often very different. However, Pathfinder and D&D are by no means a perfect one-on-one. Although based on D&D rules, Pathfinder 2e has its own identity. Players can't just take their D&D characters and throw them into a Pathfinder campaign. They'll quickly discover that abilities, levels, and other mechanics work differently. Playing D&D is no substitute for learning how to play Pathfinder, but when it comes to learning the basic mechanics, it never hurts to have a few experienced D&D players in your Pathfinder group. Beginner's tips for Pathfinder character customization. Pathfinder may be just as easy to pick up as D&D, but it gives players more options to customize their characters. While each class follows a specific path and gains new skills and rewards at each level, heroes must also earn feats from time to time. Character customization is where the fun begins when you learn to play Pathfinder. Feats can be based on class, lineage, or skill training, each providing unique actions, bonuses, or character effects. For example, a fearsome barbarian might want an unsolved feat that allows him to wipe out enemies with a single glance, while a crafty rogue might choose pickpocket to make them less vulnerable when trying to steal a heavily guarded item. Penalties can be ignored. To make things even more interesting, Pathfinder allows players to use archetypes to expand or deviate from typical character paths. Archetypes allow for multiple classes. Like D&D 5e, players can choose certain archetypes from classes they don't own, but they also allow players to customize classes they already have. Let's say a druid player wants to give their character a greater connection to the animal kingdom. They can take the Beastmaster archetype from the Advanced Player's Guide, giving them a whole bunch of beast companions. Pathfinder characters are not limited by class. Instead, the Pathfinder rules allow players to follow any path they choose, a useful tool when learning to play Pathfinder 2e. Math is a part of every RPG in some way, but Pathfinder requires players to remember more numbers and do more calculations than most. For example, Night 20 in D&D was a huge success. In Pathfinder, critical successes must be at least 10 higher than the difficulty. Also, the skills added to D&D checks are the same for each skill and only scale to character level, while Pathfinder has 5 skill levels and scales independently. With experience, these numbers will become second nature, but for someone learning to play Pathfinder, it can be a lot to keep track of. Fortunately, there are plenty of online tools and resources to help new Pathfinder players get started. The Nethies Archive is Pathfinder's official searchable online reference document that helps players create characters, find specific items, or find some unusual Pathfinder monsters. There are also various fill character tables on the web, many of which do some of the calculations automatically. Virtual table software can help players automate dice rolls, create cards, and play together away from a physical distance. PF2 Tools also has a comprehensive list of online Pathfinder tools that can fit almost any player's needs. Pathfinder Adventure Path to try first. Forming a group and starting a session may sound appealing after learning how to play Pathfinder, but organizing a brand new campaign from scratch can be a daunting task. Fortunately, there are several published Pathfinder activities available. Players can create a gang of cursed criminals seeking revenge in the steampunk-themed Alkenstar Outlaws, investigate the mysteries of Hulknight Hill and fend off bloodthirsty sects in Age of Ashes, or bend the rules of reality in Gatewalkers. Whatever your team's fantasy, there's always a Pathfinder adventure. These predetermined adventures can level Pathfinder sessions. But if a group of people want to try something really different, Pathfinder isn't limited to swords and sorcery. Starfinder adapts the rules and settings of Pathfinder to accommodate future activities in space. Starfinder is equally flexible, offering course options for experimental biohackers, coordinated mystics, and powerful technologists. However, it is just as easy to learn using the same familiar D20 system as Pathfinder. Starfinder also has its own expansions and events that offer plenty of content for sci-fi action. There are also some Pathfinder-based video games where players can try the activities effortlessly. Pathfinder, Kingmaker, and Pathfinder: Wrath of the Righteous adapt the rules of the board game in an isometric, turn-based video RPG. There are some differences between Righteous Wrath and the Pathfinder tabletop rules, but the video games are a great way to jump into the world of Pathfinder. Getting into a new TTRPG can be intimidating, and learning to play Pathfinder is no exception. Reading the 600-page rulebook, creating new characters, deciding on new scenarios takes a lot of time and effort. However, the more effort the players put in during the preparation phase, the better results they will see when they finally take the field. There's never been a better time to explore a new board game, and Pathfinder's ease of learning, emphasis on customization, wealth of online tools, and variety of published content make it one of the best options. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and support my channel.